It's cold as shit.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Noetic Video and to our video tour of West Hill Mall in Huntsville, Texas. As some of you may have noticed, we went with a slightly different format for this episode because when it comes to remaining mall space, West Hill Mall probably has the least of any mall we visited. And that is because the majority of the mall has been renovated and rented out as office space for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice and other state and government agencies. When the mall opened in 1982, it was primarily retail. It had a Palais Royale and a J.C. Penney, which you can see the remnants of here, as its primary anchors. Now, when this J.C. Penney closed, the interior was gutted and it was remodeled completely as cubicle office space. But the impressions of the original sign you can still see there, preserved in that gold wall plating right there. Now you're about to be able to see when we come up on this directory. It's more like a obelisk. It looks right out of 2001: A Space Odyssey. But this shows the left side of the mall was the first to go. It was completely renovated and revamped for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to be able to have office space. And while we were in here, actually, one of the ladies who was employed over there actually came over to this side of the mall to use one of the restrooms in the old, I think that's a Zales. It was a jewelry store. You see it right there on the left with the mirrored columns. One thing that blew me away, I don't know if it's the police department that's doing this or if it's the factory outlet or the people on the retail side of the mall, but just the amount of plants still alive and thriving in this mall kind of blew me away. It really set the atmosphere because it stands out more. You know, mall plants used to be a feature of most malls, and it's part of what gave that sense of opulence to them. And here, well, there's no opulence left, but it feels as if there is, or if there's an attempt with all of these plants, and all of them were real. We checked a couple of them because I was like, there's no way that all of these are actually real, but every one we checked was real. And so in this weird little tucked away business park, there's this 1980s time capsule of what West Hill Mall used to be. The mall only had about 20 years of activity as a retail space. It opened in 1982, and by the mid to late 2000s, the renovation for office space had already taken full swing. So as the rest of the mall declined, it continued to be renovated for office space. Even as recently as 2022, I think 7 or 8 of the remaining retail suites had been heavily renovated in order to accommodate more office space. And I don't think this retail section of the mall has much life left after Palais Royale closed and J.C. Penney left several years ago. It's now just sort of hanging on by a thread. So like I said, this was a shorter episode of Dead Mall Mavens, but we still wanted to make sure that this mall was included just for how appealing it is aesthetically. It's so quiet in there, and it's so comfortable. I mean, can't really do much because it's like one large room essentially, but you can still get the vibe of what it once was prior to the renovations taking over. So, it's like we said, a bit of a shorter video this time around, but we still wanted to make sure that this mall got included before it was lost to time. There are several other tours of West Hill Mall online that you can find. I'll put a couple of them in the description where you can see the Palais Royale and the J.C. Penney open for business before they were shut down. And I'd highly recommend you check those out.